Mike Dolson,
I'm here.
Tom McDonald,
Here.
Jennifer Finley. Here. Jim Molitor. Carol Langford. Danielle Matt. Bing Matt. James Steele Jr.
Yeah.
Martin Charlo.
Present.
Len Tootieth. Lenise Trahan. And Carol is upstairs at personnel for interviews.
Jimmy, will you give us a prayer this morning?
Well, my grandfather, today, thank you for this beautiful, beautiful day today and beautiful drive to work. It's nice to see it like it is today and to just look out at the beautiful country we live in. Ask your grandfather today to watch over our elders, watch over our children, be with us as we do our work for the people that we work for here and just help us do the right things. Help us have a clear mind and just be with us. We ask you this in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Jimmy. We have two sets of minutes today to consider. We'll look at 429 first. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, on page 2, where I was referencing the bison meat, second sentence, once the staff has made reasonable efforts to make sure travel members and programs, if we could add and programs, have access to the meat, then it would go out to our, add the word expanded community, which is the employees and descendants. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair,
James,
what's the second set of minutes?
it's from May 1st.
May 1st, okay. I just didn't see them.
Motion to approve the minutes with corrections.
Motion by Len to approve the 429 minutes. Second by Tom. All in favor? Unanimous with Martin abstaining. Second set of minutes is from May 1st, I believe.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, bottom of page 1. I can't remember if it was, hey, look, might have, was like the Alumni Association or something. Let me look in my email real quick and get that correction.
Mr. Chairman,
Got it figured there, James?
Yeah. Quick, Abby, could you change that to Dr. Luann Muski has received the 2025 Alumni Service Award at the University of Washington School of Medicine. And I can email that to you too. Sorry, I didn't put that all in there when I emailed you. Thanks.
Go ahead, Len.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the first page where it says Len Tootieth informed council that he would like Ann Miller to meet with council during the next chair's meeting. If we could just scrap that entire statement. Motion to approve the May 1 minutes with corrections.
The motion by Lynn to accept the agenda and second by James, and it was unanimous. You got trouble there? Go ahead, Lynn.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, council. Last night, it was brought to my attention that tribal elder Max Asensio passed away. I would respectfully ask that the council fly flags at half mast in his honor tomorrow. As many of you knew, Max, real good guy, just a huge loss for our community with his loss. So just that's my request.
Thank you, Lynn. Get that passed on. James?
Just whenever we have time in executive, I
Okay,
just want to talk through some things.
Okay. Tom?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. This Thursday, I'll have a International Joint Review Commission, Advisory Commission Board meeting, and I'll have more details on the potential field trip in June. Right now, the details that are coming out look pretty restrictive on the capacity for the hosts. The Canadians are hosting. First part would be the mining companies. But the second part looks like it's pretty open for looking at the tribe's landscape down by Creston and that. So we'll see. I'll find out more details for those that are interested. If there are folks that are interested that want to go, if you could let me know, then I could give them a head count if there was some of that. But you got to have your passports and or a real ID or whatever the heck you need to get in and out of Canada. And the lodging will be, they reserved some rooms for the full, what they did was at a field trip in the beginning, and then the first day, and then the second day is the all-day meeting by the governance body. And then the last day is a field trip led by the tribes south and west of the mining stuff. But the first day is, I believe, the tour of the mines. So, but I'll find out more details. So. June 22nd. Travel up there to get to Fernie. And then the 23rd is a field trip day. I believe the 24th is the all-day meeting day. And that'll be just over at Grasmere in their community hall, which is not real big. Limited capacity, I think, at that. And terribly boring. But then the 25th is another field trip day. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
I got a question. So Tom, did you get clarification about border crossing? Do we actually need our real ID or a passport, or could we continue to use our tribal IDs in our driver's license.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Glenn, I don't know that. I don't know what it is. I just know that I'm good because I have a passport. But I think Rich got away with a driver's license last year. Was that Jennifer? Do you remember? No. Yeah, he didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I will be gone on Thursday. I have a STED commission meeting in Great Falls, so I'll be leaving tomorrow. And I just renewed my passport and I won't be back in time. So I won't go to that. Just renewed it last night, actually.
Martin, you had something?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. The third annual MMIP Awareness Community Event is happening May 10th, 9 a.m. with a 5K walk / run, fun run. 10 o'clock welcoming ceremonies. Another walk and run after, and then self-defense class as well. So hopefully you can all make it. Talk to your constituents, share the event. It should be on the everyone email probably every day this week. So thank you. And also the May 24th Pablo skate park event flyer is out. So you guys could help distribute that. That'd be great.
On that same day, we're gonna revisit Hot Springs to check sites again. Skate park on this 24th. When they come for that, they're gonna come back over to Hot Springs. So. Well, we're a bit ahead of schedule.
Chair.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, I forgot. I just got notice in my email that I'll have a SAMHSA meeting tomorrow. It's on Zoom. Just to, I guess it's an introduction to some of the new SAMHSA staff. So I'm the alternate for the SAMHSA Tribal Technical Advisory Committee. So I'll find out what's going on with SAMHSA tomorrow.
Martin.
SQCC elders meeting tomorrow.
Well, fire control's not scheduled till 9:40 and you were looking for executive. Let's go out of regular and go into executive for James issue.
Okay.
Way to go, Ron. You ruined my diet.
I did ruin your diet, buddy. Yeah. I know. I've been on a roll lately.
How's that get in my plate, Ron? Did you put it there? Donut?
I wish. Do you want me to go ahead and
Yeah, you can start, Ron.
go for it? All right. So, a lot of change going on. Really what I want to update you on is what I can see coming down the pipe a little bit from the new administration and possible impacts to the Division of Fire. There was an ITC meeting that Bing had attended. I saw Bing there in Oklahoma, and they talked a little bit about this. We've had a few discussions with the Office of Wildland Fire, Aaron Baldwin, the Bureau Chief for the BIA, Wildland Fire Program, and there's several things that are occurring. And I just thought the only way we're going to get through this is through open communication. And I think I just needed to give you a heads up of what I see coming and see if we can answer any questions and maybe get some direction on what you would like me to do to pursue whatever it is we need to pursue. Okay. So Congress passed into law, and
I misspelled permanent, a permanent pay increase for wildland firefighters. And it's at the OPM website, it's called the GW pay scale. And so it's there. I think the federal firefighters, federal people, federal employees are currently getting paid that. But that was the understanding is they would transition on April 1st to that new pay scale, which would have been midway through fiscal year 25. For travel fire programs, we will continue to get the pay supplement that we have been receiving through the spreadsheets and negotiation with the regional office. It gets regional director signature, goes to the national office, and eventually we get funding that comes down into our 638 agreement contract with the Bureau of Indian Affairs. And then we distribute appropriately when we can and work with payroll to figure out when the best possible time and Greg to do that. So that's what's been going on. I see that continuing again through this fiscal year. I think at some point we're going to have to talk about how it's applied to the feds and how we would like to apply it to ourselves. So the tribes have the autonomy to pay their folks what they want. And right now, the way I see it is our fire program has a lot of people that I feel are critically important to the success of that program. And in the last year, we've lost 14 people, which is 20% of our staff. And since 2017, we've lost over 130 people out of our fire program. That's a lot of turnover. And the intent of this pay increase is to retain and to recruit people into the fire program. I guess what they're finding is there's not a lot of kids that want to spend their summers on the mountain putting out a fire or at a camp getting things ready for the fire. To support and to fight wildland fire takes a huge effort. And that's what we're seeing is a lot of people are trying to get out of it or not interested in getting in it. That's one issue. So at some point, we'll talk about adopting the GW pay scale for our wildfire program. And I think that's going to be necessary. In June, early June, we'll have a meeting. I think they're calling it consultation. And if they are, I'll try to get our leadership invited where I can represent, but they're going to talk about how, when we go away from these payments, what the 26 budget looks like and how it incorporates the GW pay scale. Okay. Any questions on that? I'll stop.
Yeah, I'm wondering how much of an increase is it?
And so I don't know. I might have. I didn't. Okay. So I guess for an example would be our basic entry-level firefighter right now is coming in at $15.10 an hour. Then you put on top of that, for every hour that they work, we pay them an additional $9 in that supplemental pay. So in theory, you could say they're making 24 bucks an hour, in theory, okay? Under this new pay scale, that individual will make a little over 20 bucks an hour. And I think so the benefit is going to be that every hour that they work overtime, they're going to get paid 30 bucks an hour. And every time they pay overtime plus hazard, they're going to get 35 bucks an hour. So it's going to be, that's where the advantage will be. I don't know if they'll make out as good as they are now, but they have the opportunity to make out big time with overtime and hazard. Okay, and go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the supplemental pay isn't included for calculating overtime.
No, sir.
Okay,
No, sir. And that is great. So it's not treated like that.
so it's like
Yeah.
COLA, cost of living for just your base wage. So it's only for 40 hours or 80 hours of pay period? What is it?
It's for any regular hour worked.
Okay.
Or in pay status. So if you furlough, you're not gonna get it. If you worked like 7 days a week, but you're only on regular that 40 hours gets it, not the additional. Okay.
Yeah, I'd want the pay increase to factor in my overtime and hazard pay then.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think it's a win. Definitely at the lower end of the pay scale, at the GS3 level. And as you go up, the increase is a little less. So it starts like at a 30% increase, I want to say, at the GS3 level, and then it decreases where you're probably looking at like a 5% increase at the top. Okay. So that's how that looks. They've talked about fuels, prevention, aviation, all submit a budget. And if we adopt this pay scale, we'll just increase those wages there. On the base preparedness, they're talking about increasing 12 to 25%. And I've done some math and looked at things. And I think if those things play out with the state funding that we receive, I think we're going to be fine. So that's just to let you know, I mean, looking at things, I think we'll be able to adopt that pay scale. The other thing I'm talking about is cost of living. This has to increase as we go. I've heard that it will, but we need to get letters that say it will. I think that's what you're gonna want, is some type of guarantee from the BIA that this is going to continue, right? They want us to say that we adopted the pay scale before they give it to us into our budgets. We want them to tell us they're going to continue putting it into our budgets before we adopt the pay scale. So we're kind of in a weird spot, but I think we'll find it. Any questions on that? All right. Mike's laughing at me. Mike? All right. All right. So the other thing is it's called Incident Response Premium Pay. IRPP is the acronym. And right now they're saying the BIA has ruled where that is only for federal employees and not for tribal. Very similar to the initial ruling for the retention or supplemental pay. I don't necessarily agree with that ruling. I've read language where tribal programs will be treated the same as if they were employed by the secretary and provided all the same benefits and access to funds. And in my opinion, that is not a correct interpretation. The IRPP simply would be if the $20 an hour individual that we were talking about went on a fire assignment. There are some rules. It has to be for over 36 hours. So it could be like 2 or 3 day, 4 day assignment. It has to be 50 miles away from home, meaning I think what they want us to be is anybody that's on the road that's taken away from their home for an extended period of time on a fire assignment or a fuels assignment would receive this IRPP. And what it is, it's 4.5 times your pay rate daily. Okay, so hourly wage is $20. That individual to make $90 on top of everything every day that they were on that assignment. That is IRPP. Okay, so they're gone for 14 days. They got $90 the entire period they were gone on top of the overtime and hazard that they earned. Okay. That's how it plays out right now. They're saying the tribes do not qualify. And what I was told, it was the BIA that came up with that ruling. Now, I told them we're pushing back. I'm sure at some level ITC will push back. In fact, I'm pretty sure Bingley talked about this at your guys' meeting. The issue I had with it, and I know I'm not going to change it, the intent of this program was to try to keep people that are on the peripheral, your militia, interested in fighting fire because they're not getting the premium pay. They're not getting the supplemental. But I told them, if that's who you're trying to hit, it makes no sense for me to send the people I need in an emergency to the Bitterroot to deal with a fire, because I need them at home. And that's why we have militia. When we get in trouble, we get a bunch of fires and we need support here. Rod Couture, Dave Burton, Forestry, they all staff up and come help us. And it just feels like that's the time when I want them, and that's when I'd like them to get that IRPP. That's not how it's going to play out. But at any rate, what I was told, it has to be in our cooperative agreement. So I've attached language in a letter. It's 2B, and it's to Mr. Michael Garcia. And it's a request. CSKT is permanently requesting to amend the current cooperative agreement to include incident response premium pay. Now, I just want to incorporate that into our cooperative agreement so that it's there, and if they do agree that we do qualify, that all of those steps would have already been taken and we could implement immediately. So I guess that's one council action. If you agree that we should approach Michael Garcia about amending our cooperative agreement in preparation of IRPP, that would be something I asked this morning.
Mr. Chair, I'd make the motion to effective what Ron was just requesting. I want to defend our workers and maximize their pay and salaries and their career in the fire field. Thank you.
Motion by Tom, second by Bing to
Okay.
pursue the IRPP.
Okay.
All in favor? Unanimous.
All right, Lamb. I thought this gal was Sadie coming to talk with me on this, the last issue that we've got, but it must not be. Sorry. Okay, the president's budget. So I got an email from a friend of mine in the BIA, and inside of it had the 26 president's budget. And I just throw this out. I'm not sure where it's going, but on page 31, and I put a little 3 next to it, is language talking about the Federal Wildland Fire Service. Federal Wildland Fire Risk Mitigation Suppression responsibility is currently split across 5 federal agencies and 2 departments, U.S. Forest Service, Department of Ag, and then the Bureau of Indian Affairs, Bureau of Land Management, USFS, National Park Service, all of the Department of Interior. They feel this is inefficient and they want a stovepipe and pull all of the agencies into one. And they'll all be in the Department of Interior. Nowhere in here did it really mention tribes, so I don't know how they view tribal programs or if they understand that. But I think it's just something to put on our radar, that they're looking at doing something of that nature with the Wildland Fire Program. And again, this is on the proposed, but I don't think it's been approved, but it's a proposed president's budget. I guess I'll pause there for any questions. Makes sense. Okay. So I turn to page 33 would be the next page on your agenda. I got a little number 4 by it. And in here I see tribal. And so state, local, tribal, NGO, conservation programs. The budget reduces grant programs and subsidized management of state privately owned forests. Our budget provides robust support of federal wildland fire management activities alongside states and local partners. These partners should be encouraged to fund their own community preparedness and risk mitigation activities. So I don't know what that means. Mike, I guess, what's that mean to you?
Sounds like they want us to bring resources to bear.
And I don't think that's, consistent with the inherent federal trust responsibility. So I just throw that out. I don't know what it means, but it's just something that I definitely looked at and took note of and thought I should at least brief my council if they're not aware. So if you're aware of all this, I apologize, but it's just something that I've been digging into a little bit. Guess I'll pause there for any questions.
And go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ron, at the meeting down there in Oklahoma, a lot centered around the president's budget, a lot of it. And yeah, BIA was mentioned. And we couldn't figure out why, a lot of us couldn't figure out why they were kind of opposing this a little bit, for the tribal firefighters. And it seemed like, well, towards the end there, it seemed like the president was going to go ahead and support it, but it's just idea of things being held up. You never know what he's going to do. And they're all scared. They're all worried about it. They're all really worried about it. And it was, the meeting on it was pretty disheartening, really, because a lot of them kind of figure it's not going to be good what's going to take place.
Yeah.
And you guys getting the short end of the stick again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't, it was a lot of talk, a lot of conversation about what was going to happen with the firefighters, with tribal firefighters.
Yep.
And BIA I would be having some support from them, but it doesn't sound like there's going to be that much support for you guys. Hopefully it will turn around and something will happen with the BIA, but it just depends on the president, what the hell he's going to do, everybody's kind of up in the air about it. Fire season is hitting here because we've already got fires going on in the state of Montana here, It's still winter just ended here. We got fires going already.
Yeah.
Well, what's it going to be like the rest of the year?
It's gonna be tough.
If we won't get any moisture, we should, it's going to be a rough one.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a rough one, for the whole state and surrounding states. Because they already got fires in California already, And there's another one, I think, down south, Oklahoma or somewhere. They had it by there.
Our helicopter guys are coming home from North Dakota today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's gonna be a rough one, I think, and then
Yeah.
hopefully, like I say, the BIA gets off their hind ends and do something for you guys, and help you guys out somewhere or other, support you somewhere, fight with the big boy, I don't know whether they're gonna make any headway or not, but it's gonna be might be a rough road to hoe here.
Yeah. I mean, it's been entertaining. We've been getting this thing, we're gonna get this pay or this increase, new pay scale, all this, and then, but you just knew at some point it was gonna go. I mean, it can't be a Walt Disney movie all the way. I mean, we'll see. I think we're gonna have a battle ahead of us. I think there's gonna be some change. I think the earlier we look at it and anticipate it, I think the better off we'll be. So that was the intent of this, I guess, meeting this morning, why I came in front of council. The other thing is, to Bing's point, we're looking at probably 2017, 2021 for those that have area command team was in place, Rice Ridge, Liberty. We had a number of fires that were on us. Lolo Peak, complex. There's just a number of things within the Southwest Zone. 2 people died, one on our helicopter in a life flight mission. Anyway, that's what the weatherman is predicting in terms of conditions and fuel conditions. Weather conditions similar to 17 and 21, which were pretty significant years. That's what we're getting ready for. With that, we have a Lake County exercise that's coming up, rural fire exercise, and the headquarters is going to be at Property Supply out at the old Kicking Horse Job Corps. And there's going to be roughly 150 rural fire department individuals from Lake County joining in this effort. We're going to have 3 stations. Looking at structure triage, drafting, trying to work together so that when we do get the smoke in the air, that we're a little more fluent, a little more proficient, a little more safe and effective. So I've been reaching out to Katie Finley, Katie Fisher. I think she was going to try to be here with me and discuss, but she might be on Zoom.
We're here.
Okay.
Sadie and I are both online.
Okay. Anything you would like to add to that, Whisper?
No, we were just waiting to hear about the location. We got the review for 150 people, but we had not been notified of where the location was. If it's at Kicking Horse Property and Supply, we don't have any other tribal land concerns.
No, so there is one that's just below, there's a map that's with the council presentation. Right below McDonald Lake, there's a spot where we're going to do traverse. We're going to break out compasses, walk to a fire and do a size up. No ground disturbance. And then there's an area that looks like we've gone to a private landowner to use to draft water. So there's just that one area that's below McDonald Lake.
And that's on tribal land.
Yes, ma'am. There's an existing road. That's where we park and walk in. We're
I
not
can't
gonna,
see the map, but if there's adequate places to park for safety, I would ask that maybe council waive the tribal fee for this activity for this one portion of the training to be carried out on tribal land.
okay. Appreciate that. Thank you, Whisper.
Got a request to waive the fees for this activity.
I'll second Jimmy's motion.
Motion by Jimmy, second by James. All in favor? We got 6-4 and Martin out of the room. So it passes.
Damn it. Damn it. And that's it, unless there's questions from council.
Anything further for Ron? Go ahead, Tom.
Just shoo those bears out before you guys go.
Oh, I know. That's what I was like, dang.
That's
Why are we going there? Why can't we go?
That's like the
million places
worst
I don't
place you
want to
could
go.
pick. Yeah.
It would be good if somebody could bring, if you could have people with some bear spray and just some people watching out, because it is a heavy with bears up there, since I can't see. If you'd send us the map, that would be great.
Copy that. I will.
Thanks, Ron.
Oh, and damn it.
Ron.
We got Patty next, right?
Yes, Patty Hippler.
Come on up. Welcome. Good morning. I think we're ready, Patty.
Is that one? Oh, much different. This one's not working. Even I can hear the difference. Thank you. So I want to thank you for getting us on the agenda today. We wanted to come visit with you about dire need, give you some data regarding dire need, where DHRD is with spending, what some of the issues are that tribal members have come forward for dire need, so you have that background. Essentially, what we're here for is to let you know that within the 8 months of service with dire need, that the dire need budget has been depleted. So we want to give you that data and information and see if within the tribal budget, you want to provide more funding to take this program through the remaining 4 months through the fiscal year. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Karen. If you can give us some of the financial data, that would be great.
Okay, so we're spending at the same level that we did last year. We're within like $1,000. So April 30th of last year, we spent 105. Now we're currently at 106. So we are a little bit overspent, about by $8,000. And I'm not sure what the request was last year. I couldn't figure that out, but we raised the budget up to $215,000. We only spent 130,000. So I, with our calculations and stuff, I'm requested that put in my documentation stating that I think 60,000 would suffice to get us through the year, giving us $26,000 cushion more from the prior year, because, the hardships of food costs are still up, and Mission Valley Power costs, which is our highest, and then shelter costs. Mission Valley Power, I don't think it was that much last year, 9% now. This year, we're seeing an increase of the Mission Valley Power.
Go ahead, James.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the report. I think, was it last year you all had come in with like all the different folks that used the program. And I think, we're in that kind of a bubble at the moment with this new administration, and everything they're doing is not to decrease prices on everything, but to increase prices on everything. And I think it's safe to say we are going to see prices of just everything going through the roof. It's just the way it looks. And when you have the administration fighting with our allies, our friends, the Japanese, he's fighting with the Japanese, and I'm like, the war's over. They're our allies. And one of the things that I was watching in terms of the food prices is one of the ladies in Iowa, and I've said this to council a few times, but you can see more and more stories of that nature, is that these farmers and such, they voted for this administration, and now they said, we're going bankrupt because we don't have any workers. And that's going to affect the price of our food and such. So yeah, I can hear and see your concerns, and it's going to go up. And but anyway, thank you.
Other questions? Tom?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I belong to, as an advisor to Native Americans in Philanthropy. And they are currently setting up a fund to provide for dire need to tribes in the, unusual, extraordinary times that we're in with, especially with the tariffs and the price of everything going up. They're also looking at grabbing other nonprofits, large companies that give to set up a fund to create some bridge funding for like projects that might be, they were 100% funded before from maybe 4 or 5 different things. And one of the things got pulled back because of this administration. So it got pulled back. So it's a project that's already maybe even let out. And then all of a sudden an agency or tribe is missing a quarter of the funding. So we're going to try to provide bridge funding for that too. But the dire need one is the one that I was really pushing because I really wanted to make sure that they would be able to do that. And they're going to do that there within themselves. We're not even going to go outside and really, they'll do fundraising for it. But what they're missing is like the criteria. Like what could they base that program on for Native Americans in philanthropy to give that out equally to all 500 plus tribes? And I didn't say that we already have a dire need program, but my friend I used to know from South Dakota, well, I know her pretty well. She mentioned that their tribe does have a dire need program, so they already have something going, and maybe that could be some type of criteria that they could measure upon. So what I'm asking is for any information that you have, you could give me that would establish, so it would give us the edge. I don't mean to be self-serving, but that maybe they could use as a model for them to release these funds as we proceed into this next year. We really haven't seen the full weight of the circumstances yet. We certainly will next fiscal year. And so it'd be nice to have this fund there that we could submit an application to, maybe supplement the dire need program, just like you're asking to do right now from our tribal coffers. But it would be another entity that we could ask. So any information you can give me, I can share with them, would be beneficial, because I would think that, we might qualify for some of that. And it's a good thing to do. They should be doing that anyway. So that's my 2 cents. The other things about when you mentioned the electrical bills, we did pass a small amount to assist LEAP, based on the little bit of windfall that we may have gotten through the low cost block of power. But just to offset the power rates that people had to pay because we had to buy replacement power at a higher cost. Kind of a one-time deal. But we do have still, as the contractor, we do, for my fellow tribal council representatives, the opportunity to stall once more, having a rate increase. And the rate increase is really talking about maintenance. It's about deferring maintenance on the system, which puts the whole system at risk, just so you know. You have a major failures, we're not replacing poles or doing that. But it does stall that. Could stall it for a period of time if we want to. We think that's that rate increase is just too much on top of the inflation that we're going to be facing. So I want to put that in people's minds as we think about something like this and voting because I can say that if this is the situation, we were $60,000 short last year or whatever it was, we know we are this year. You know what it's going to be next year? Way worse. Way worse. So just want to make that statement. Thank you.
And in response to your comments, Natalie, you can send him the policy and procedures that guide the dire need program. So you have those to use moving forward. And then based on these types of assistance that were provided here, Natalie, as overseeing the case managers that assist the clients that come in for dire need, is there anything else that you want to add that you've been seeing for the use of those funds?
Just the majority of being the food, shelter, and Mission Valley Power. Those still are our 3 highest ones. I am seeing slight increase on funeral travel and medical travel that tribal health is denied. And they've been denied because they haven't updated with tribal health. So we're trying, it used to be one of our goals is to make sure our people, when they apply for our assistance, that we also provide them with tribal health. And I will get back into doing that with our case managers so that our people stay updated with tribal health.
Tom, go ahead.
Yeah, we had a discussion just the other day about how sometimes we miss the boat or people don't know it's there, or they're not signed up for this or that. That could be the collective, could be utilized and fully exhausted before something else happens. It was in the discussion for someone paying rent. And well, they could have got this, they could have got that. They wouldn't apply for it, or they didn't, they just, I don't know. It was their choice not to do it. But there are so many times we just miss that opportunity to make sure that everybody's signed up, they're current, and they're applying for everything, all the assistance that they can apply for. And yeah, I don't know. It'd be great if someday I could say we're doing that 100% effectively, but I don't know if we ever will. But it's a good goal to try to strive for, because it makes every dollar stretch farther for individuals in need. So I applaud you for that, making sure that they get updated. We got to have a simpler way to make sure people are current with tribal health. I just don't understand why it's a struggle. Well, I can understand the need to be updating based on changes, but sometimes it seems a little bit overbearing. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Jennifer?
Yeah, thanks for that comment. And I think, exploring all options, and I'm wondering, that if when we meet with tribal health, if we can ask them when people get updated, if they can get some kind of a receipt or something saying you've been updated. Because I have personally updated my records, and my son has, and I know other people have. And then they went into a clinic and they got a bill. And we said, we just updated our stuff, and they said, we have no record of that. And so I'm sure that you work with clients who have those kinds of issues as well, and, have medical bills that they cannot pay, and things like that. So maybe that's something on our part, we can ask tribal health to implement some kind of a system where people get like a receipt when you pay for something, you update, you get something that says you've been updated. And then people can just have that to prove like, hey, I updated my records. You guys on your part need to figure it out. Because and I don't know what's going to happen with Medicaid, but I have been emailing our congressional representatives to ask them to save Medicaid, not make any cuts to Medicaid. So I think that's really important too, that we all do that and advocate for Medicaid on a national level.
Other questions? Tom?
I guess I'm not sure the status of where funds could come from, but I guess just as we did last year, I would certainly support supplementing the dire need budget to carry out the rest of the fiscal year.
At the recommended amount?
Yes. At the recommended amount. I would make that a motion.
Motion by Tom to look for the 60,000 that's been asked for. Second by Martin. All in favor? We're unanimous. Now we just got to find it.
I know, Ruth. I just want to give you a brief update regarding the organizational chart. So I know it's been here in front of council a couple of times, was a little problematic. Been working with the division managers and Rhea Gates on updating that org chart. I think it's ready to go. We're going to submit it for Tuesday's council action. So just wanted to give you a brief update on that.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Patty? Have a good day. Anybody need a break?
Can we go into executive?
We'll go out of regular into executive.